Hello, everybody, and welcome to Taking Control, the ADHD podcast on rashpixel.fm. I'm Pete Wright, and right over there is Nikki Kinzer.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Pete Wright. How are you?
Hello, Nikki Kinzer. I'm so good. I'm fresh back from my my Tulsa trip.
Yes.
Oh, Tulsa.
How was it?
It's changed so much. Well, I have this video of my son surprising his grandfather. I had him sneak in from the street and just walk in the house. And you have to
That's
know,
right,
like,
because it was a surprise. Yeah. I forgot about that.
It was his birthday. He didn't know this was coming on. And so I have the video from outside the house, and he walks in and he says, "Hey, I want some dinner," right? He just starts howling in the house. And I think I think my dad thought they were being robbed by young brigands.
Oh, jeez.
The youth were taking over the house for food, roaming the streets. And then I just hear this howling. It was just perfect. It was just perfect.
Oh, that is so cool.
And so, yeah, we had a terrific couple of days surprising the folks, and it was really fun. You know, it's sad. He hasn't seen his grandson since his grandson was 2 in the flesh.
Wow. So he probably really honestly did not recognize him at first. Well, I guess
it's
from
hard
pictures
to say that
and
because,
stuff,
yeah,
but...
I mean, we not even pictures. I mean, we FaceTime all the time.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the things that makes it so easy to say, oh, you know, we're definitely planning a trip. We've been planning a trip for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard to kind of, you know, it's just a very different time than we had. I couldn't have gone 10 years without seeing my grandparents when I was his age. And now it's easy to forget if you're not really conscious about it. And, you know,
well, and you do
how
have
how my brain
and
works.
you have the FaceTime, which does kind of somehow make up for that time loss because they are still in contact with him. They still see him through the computer and they know what he's doing. And so I think it's even easier to kind of let it slide a little bit. But that is fantastic. What a great weekend. Great memories. I'm sure. So that's awesome.
Yes. Great memories, great pictures. Very exciting to have that under our belts. And now we're back to work, and we are talking about, well, we've got a couple of things. The first is we're talking about a conversation you had. Is this the
with
client conversation you had?
Yes,
that,
just
that
this week.
Inspired you so?
It inspired me
it.
so. I mean, it brought chills as soon as I heard it. It gave me chills, and I even told her I'm stealing this. I did not realize that I was going to make a whole podcast show out of it, but it's good stuff. So
it's good stuff. All right. Well, let's get into that. Before we do, head over to takecontroladhd.com. You can get to know us a little bit better. Listen to the show right there on the website, or subscribe to the mailing list on the homepage. You'll get an email every time a new episode is released. You can connect with us on Twitter or Facebook at Take Control ADHD. And, you know, if you support us on Patreon, patreon.com/the ADHD podcast, if you join the fantastic group of folks who have been touched somehow by the work we've done over the last 8 years, who have thrown $1 or $2 or $5 toward us to help grow the show, you get access to a weekly live stream with us as we record the show live. We can take questions and talk with you. You join the private Facebook group for members only. It's just some great sharing going on in there. We love the tools and tips people are bringing to the table. So patreon.com/the ADHD podcast. You don't have to support us there, but it is a great way to help us grow the show, add some new things to the show, continue to improve what we do, and like the weekly live stream. So thank you, everybody, for supporting us over there.
And can I just say something really quick, too? I had a couple of emails this week, and they were so sweet. And one was just awesome because she just said, "Hi, Nikki. I love you. That's it. Keep doing what you're doing."
Aww.
Yeah, it was just really sweet. And I love that. And it means a lot to us when you do send us those little notes and comments. And, you know, Pete and I love what we do. There's no doubt about it. We would be doing this regardless. But it is just so nice to know that it touches people and that it matters. And so, anyway, I just want to say thank you, because there were a couple that came in these last couple weeks that were just really special and awesome. So thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. We also have some news.
Yes.
Your accountability groups are open for spring.
Yes, and there's only a few spots left. So if you are interested in joining me and some of your other ADDers, I encourage you to look at these spring groups. I've got 2 going on. And like I said, there's just a few spots left. It's going to open. Well, actually, the deadline is April 17th. They start the week of April 23rd. So if you have questions, we'll put the link into the show notes so you can check it out. But it's a fantastic way to connect and inspire and get feedback and stay accountable. I mean, it is an accountable group. So if you've got a project you've been working on and you want to finish it, this may be the way to do it.
This will get you there. This will get you over the hump. All right. We've got a little bit of follow-up. You have an email that you wanted to share.
Yes.
Tell me about
Pete
this.
Wright, you are so much better at taking these long emails and shortening them up than me.
Hi, Nikki and Pete. Your podcast on stopping the freeze effect could not have come at a better time. Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. And then she adds this. I recently came up with a really useful mantra for dealing with my emotions in order to unfreeze and prevent myself from freezing. This is super handy stuff. Number 1, no expectations, unrealistic future thoughts. 2, no films, in quotes. Kopf-Kino, either memories or repetitive visions of hypothetical futures. Number 3, this too shall pass. Recognize and acknowledge the emotion, and if I know it, the cause. Number 4, you are safe in the present. I love that.
I know.
And number 5, you no longer have to freeze. No expectations, no films, this too shall pass. You are safe in the present. You no longer have to freeze. It's just lovely. It just rolls right together. This mantra helps me to push forward and get myself out of overwhelm and to get on with things. I found it helps me get through the emotional ADHD paralysis that has hitherto caused me no end of grief. It has been especially helpful to me on the weekends and during the week when it comes to doing chores, organizational tasks. One thing that used to make me freeze was the fear of not having enough hours in the day. Hallelujah. Amen. I still struggle with making time to do creative things that I want to do, like writing, but I'm able to push myself to go to the gym, to do Krav Maga. I arrive at work early, and before signing in, we have keys which allow us to sign in and sign off as we want. I spend an hour looking over martial arts videos to prepare myself for upcoming gradings. This I do with permission from my work's admin, still struggling to find time to write, though. And then she sends on a couple of extra resources, which we can post in the show notes. But I love that mantra. What do you think?
I love it too, and it connects with what we're going to talk about today and our next show, which we're going to talk about in a couple weeks. So I just got this morning, and I thought, oh, I've got to put it in the show immediately because I love the mantras. I love the positive reminders and self-talk and affirmations, and it's beautiful. And I'm so glad that she shared it. And I think I think it would even be great to put these 5 mantras in the show notes so that people can actually see it in writing, because these are good. These are really good. I love the no expectations. I love this too shall pass. The no films. I mean, all of it. I love all of it. So thank you so much for sharing.
Paralyzed by visions of hypothetical futures. It's absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Yep, I love that.
So,
wonderful share. Okay, so today, what are we going to talk about? Let's set us up this conversation you had with your client that became so inspirational for you.
Well, first of all,
that you stole it.
I stole it. She knows. I told her I was going to steal it, which really isn't stealing when you tell the person you're going to take something from them. It's kind of like, well,
does
kind
that hold up in court?
I don't know.
I'm not sure that'll hold up.
Probably
in court,
not.
But I like where we're going today.
Okay. So I want to ask you this question first before I tell you how this all kind of came up for me. When you hear the quote, "Today I have the opportunity to do something different." When you hear that, Pete Wright, what comes up for you? Today I have the opportunity to do something different.
You know, I have to speak sort of personally about this because it takes me back to 10 years ago where I feel like I was having these feelings, if not in these words, and that was when I quit my corporate job, which I was feeling frozen and paralyzed and frustrated and angry and stuck. and decided that it was time for me to take ownership of my time and my direction and my personality again, and figure out sort of who I really am. And to do that, I needed to be on my own. And it was terrifying, but it was something that I think about. And when people ask me what I do today, I actually use these words, maybe not so many of them, but I use these words when I describe what I do. I have the opportunity every morning to choose what I want to do for the day because of the nature of the clients that I have and the different kinds of work I do for each of them. And I consider that a deeply empowering thing. For others, I know that can be really paralyzing and scary, but for me, it's become really empowering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great.
I don't know, am I working in the right direction?
Yeah, I love it. And that's actually, when you look at how you perceived it and how what she was talking about, it's two very different things. Yours is much bigger, which I think is great because you can see it on the big scale of big dreams and making that change. And for her, it was something that was a little bit on a smaller scale, but it still had the same meaning. It still had that I have a choice here. I have an opportunity to do something different. And that was a positive thing. So this is what I want to say. So yes, I was talking to my client, and for me as a coach, when I heard her say that, I did have chills. Like I had her finish her sentence and then I had her repeat it. I was like, can you repeat what you just said? Because to me, I witnessed a shift of mindset. And that's what we're trying to get to in so much of the coaching is how do you shift your mindset into looking at something different, looking at the possibilities and looking at, not repeating the past patterns that you're beating yourself up on. Right.
Right.
And so this was huge. It was definitely, and I wrote it down. I told her I was going to steal it. Again, I did not think I was going to do a podcast show on it, but it meant that much to me. So I wanted to talk to the audience. This is not so much how you get to that mindset, because that is a process and a journey that's going to look different for everybody. But this show is more about inspiration in the sense that you can get there. Like for me to hear this woman and see all of the work that we've done in the past and have her say something to me like that was a huge, huge breakthrough. And if you look at where are you before the shift, I thought that might be a good place for us to kind of start of what people might be feeling right now. Is that good with you, Pete?
Yeah.
Does that work?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. So BS. Oh, I don't like that acronym. Before shift.
Oh.
No, we're going to change that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
BTS. BTS. Before the shift. Let's do that.
Yeah, before the shift. Okay. So in general terms, when I work with people, I'm listening for what they're saying, right? So I'm listening to how they're preferencing things. Like I'm always doing this. I can't do this. We've talked about this before. These are these limiting beliefs that keep us stuck. They don't serve us. And they keep us.
That binary thinking we talked about some time ago.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And
ones and zeros, all or nothing.
All or nothing. And then as we've also talked about, what does this lead to? It leads to a lot of guilt and a lot of shame that we have around our past behaviors or our past patterns. And what I see is that, people get stuck in this shame spiral that we've talked about before. And they don't necessarily see that there's a way out. They don't necessarily see the possibility of, can I do something different today? Because all they are remembering is all the times that they didn't do it. And so when we're looking at like guilt and shame, guilt is feeling bad that you're late today, but shame is feeling like you're the bad person for being like, you're taking that on as you're being bad. So, that all kind of connects to this, because when you start to see that shift happen, which again is kind of on everybody's own terms, you start to focus on, okay, what if today I wasn't late? What if I made a few choices and did something a little bit different and took care of this or whatever it was that you're dealing with? I'm talking very broadly here, but it starts opening that door. And I really believe that what you focus on grows. So if you keep thinking about your mistakes, if you keep thinking about everything you wish you would have done, then that's going to continue being what's in your mindset. That's going to keep you stuck. It's going to keep you from doing any kind of forward movement or doing any kind of action. And this is why this ties into what she's saying at the beginning of the show when we were talking about the affirmations. No films, no hypothetical futures, right? We don't know what's going to happen or what could happen if we choose something different, or if we just do something just tiny, tiny small that could make a big difference. Are you following me?
Yeah, I do, and this is why it takes me back to what I was talking about at the beginning about my own journey 10 years ago. Because when you look at the little, sure you can look at it in the big scope, but what you really, for me, the experience was very much that I was stuck in invasive thought land, right? I mean, I was so stuck in my own head about how I was going nowhere, and I was going, I was going to be stuck there forever in a place that didn't like me, in a place that I didn't like. It with a team that there was just all kinds of things that were moving in a direction that didn't work well and weren't positive, but they impacted the very tiny, minute daily activities that I could not get done.
Right.
I was stuck too much in my own head and could not get them done. And so being able to wake up and say, today I really can do something different.
Right.
Today I can change. Today I can take ownership of who I am and what I want to do with my time and with my life. So that's one of the things when I first saw this, in the show notes that you had been working on, I thought, oh, wow, what I love so much about just these words, today is a new opportunity. It hit me, right in the center of the chest because it works on the very, very small and it works on the very, very grand scales. And that's very powerful.
It is indeed. So I'm glad that hit you there. And I hope that people that are listening are getting the same impact, because it sure hit me. And and it is possible. I mean, I think that that's kind of the message that I want to share with people too, is that we can, even when we feel the most stucky, I don't know if that's a word or not. I'm going to make it up as one.
Just commit to it, Nikki. Commit.
That's right. But, there are other options and there are other choices. And so find some hope in that. And just to give you, I guess, some tangible things, questions to think about is, what can you do to change whatever it is that you're looking at? What options do you have, and really opening yourself up to that? You look like you're going to say something.
I have to say something, and it's a shout out to an old friend who did something on Facebook yesterday that I was really touched by. Can I share?
Yes, please.
He runs an independent marketing shop out of Denver, Daryl Stern, and he is the master of individual branding, and he's a showman, and he was actually. Do you remember the Scooter computer on ABC's? It was like the Schoolhouse Rock.
I remember Schoolhouse Rock, but I don't remember.
Okay, there was an episode where there was a talking computer, and Daryl Stern was the voice of the talking computer on Schoolhouse Rock. So if you go back and find, I think it was Scooter Computer or something, like, he's been a performer for years. And then when our lives connected, we were in college in New Jersey, and he was studying writing and had written a play, and I was one of the actors in his play. And so we've kind of been connected for, however many decades that is. And now he runs this marketing shop. And part of his pitch is, when you do your, marketing is very much about showmanship, right? I mean, you have to communicate your whole story. Yesterday was his birthday. So happy birthday, Daryl, my friend. And I happened to jump into a live stream that he was doing on Facebook to celebrate his own birthday. And what he was doing was he'd just been inspired to go through his old sort of clips book on Facebook Live, and he said, look, here's holding up pictures. Here's me as a little French boy in this such and such play. Here's me as the such and such in the dancing, in this little dancing school. And he went through all of these things. And the message that I walked away from at the end of this, as he's sharing this whole story, he says, I just want to say that I know these things individually, seem like kind of pointless navel gazing, but really, like, this is a tapestry of who I am. And so many of these pictures rely on the weight or carried on the backs of so many of you who are watching, who are supporting me today. So, I just want to say thanks and be and share my gratitude on my birthday and encourage you to look at the tapestry of who you are, which is, like, go through your pictures and remember these moments and remember the people who helped get you there and thank them, no matter how long ago it was. Thank them, because it's all of those pictures that represent him, maybe not using these words, but using some sort of intention around today. I'm going to do something new.
Yeah.
Today, I'm going to take an opportunity that's out there before me, and I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to do something great. And it may mean I have to dress like a little French boy with a wig and everything in the
I'd like to see that.
Early 1900s. Beautiful. It may be I have to, write this play. It may be I have to voice a computer, but it's all about grabbing something and changing just one little thing. You never know when that one little thing is going to lead to a next great big thing. Right. And so I found that very profound. And so happy birthday, Daryl, and congratulations on a wonderful and inspirational birthday message that hit me in just the right place.
That's great. That's great. Great story to share. And what comes from that? Well, it's interesting because I hear you talk about that, and I hear about your own, choice of changing your career and what I experienced this week with my client. And one characteristic that I think is so loud and clear for so many ADDers, and they don't see it all the time, is the perseverance. And I think that that's something that I certainly want to bring up in this particular show too, because that quote is about perseverance. It is about taking ownership. It is about choosing something different, making the small changes, getting help if you need it. Just knowing, being aware that you are where you are and looking at those options and such. And like you said, I think at the end, what your story is saying is you celebrate that. It all makes you who you are. And I see so many times where people are beating themselves up over their past. And it would be great for them to see more of what can you celebrate about the past? What can you learn from it? What can you, how can you grow from it and keep moving forward? So I love that, Pete. Thank you. So well,
you're very welcome.
That's what I have today. Again, this isn't really like a how to get there, because there is no easy way on how to get there. I don't even know if you were to ask my client how she got there, because in all honesty, she was there that day, but she may not be there today. We know that, right? It's always kind of this good day, bad day thing. And I think when you're having those good days, you got to like grab them and make the most of them.
The good days are the days to build new habits.
Bet.
The good days are the days to remind yourself that you are empowered. The good days are the days to implant that thought in the back of your mind that says, I can do something different. The next thing I do may be different. And the bad days, you're going to forget that. And the good days are the days to forgive yourself for forgetting.
It's to forgive yourself, give yourself the same grace you would give to somebody else. And there was another quote that I absolutely love that's from a famous person, and I can't even remember exactly how it went, but
John Q. Famous.
Yeah, somebody famous, but it was about having the courage to end today and start again tomorrow. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
oh, yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, so I'll have to look it up and put it into the show notes. But it's a quote saying, courage is about is ending today and starting again tomorrow. And I know I'm totally messing that up, but you get the point, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's
I totally
beautiful.
do. Again, that hits me center too. Every time I look at my to-doist for tomorrow, it's a little bit terrifying.
It is.
And it's okay to be scared of a little bit.
And it's okay to just say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to worry about this tonight. I'm going to go to bed or I'm going to go. I just got done watching Ozark on Netflix. I'm telling you, do not be a money launderer.
Oh, note to self.
Don't clean money for people.
Okay.
It's not safe.
No. I feel like I learned that a little bit during Breaking Bad, so maybe I don't need to revisit
it's
that
very
particular
similar to Breaking
lesson.
Bad. Yeah. Don't sell meth and don't launder money for
Don't launder
cartel.
money. Note
Just
to self.
Don't do
Okay.
it. So anyway, okay, totally off subject, but
hey,
there you go.
This is great. Thank you so much, Nikki Kinzer, and thank you everybody for downloading and listening to this show. Once again, thank you to our Patreon subscribers at patreon.com/theADHD podcast. On behalf of Nikki Kinzer, I'm Pete Wright, and we'll catch you next time right here on Taking Control, the ADHD podcast.